Welcome to the Freedom Chronicles.
Definitely an antisocial type.
Guess what? I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
There you go, more negative waves. Have a little faith, baby. Have a little faith.
You wanted law and order in this town. You've got it.
Only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger.
Listen, hotshot, I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't care for you or for the putrid sludge you're troweling out.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
We got a loudspeaker here, and when we go into battle, we play music very loud. It kind of calms us down.
Hi, perhaps you recognize me. It's your favorite president.
Why don't you say something righteous and hopeful for a change?
In the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Freedom Chronicles. I'm your host, Mike Imbasciani. Thank you for joining us. We are, of course, broadcasting from the Brian Chapman State Farm bunker right here in Southwest Florida. And like a good neighbor, Brian Chapman State Farm is there for all of the insurance needs that you have for your very own bunker. You can give his office a call at 941-625-9998 or visit the office at 2040 Tamiami Trail in Port Charlotte. With us, as always, is Mr. Ken Lovejoy, but we are very excited to have a new guest on the show here. He is the third chair on Louder with Crowder and a very hilarious comedian. Welcome to the show, Mr. Dave Landau. Dave, how are you?
Dave. Hello, everybody. Good. How about you?
Doing well. Thanks for joining us.
Good.
Now, Dave,
I'm happy to be here.
Also going to be headlining this weekend at Vasani in the Comedy Zone.
Yes, this coming weekend,
log on to
September 9th and 10th.
Check that out. How you doing?
I'm good, I guess. That's a that's a terrible interview answer. Just fine.
Yeah,
thanks.
well, it is.
That's
considering you have had an amazing last couple of years. I mean, you've been doing stand-up for quite some time, but the last couple of years has just really been on fire for you. Tell us more about it and how you fell into it and how it's affecting you.
It's lonely at the top, Ken. Every day is sadder than the last. Probably gonna go out like Freddie Prinze. That's about it. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
Well, what happened to the mustache? What happened to the mustache?
Yeah, we were all looking for. I was
like, man, I had a whole bit about reviving J-Stash. You know,
it's weird. Yeah, my wife liked it, and then most people seemed to enjoy it, but I just hated it. It just got too ticklish for me.
Okay, yeah, no, I get that. I get that.
Which I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I looked like a different person. That's the thing is I've had mohawks.
You looked like a late 70s to mid 80s TV detective.
There you go. And when when your Instagram says, a hooker with a heart of gold, it fits in well with that image.
Yeah,
your Ahoy, it works well.
Yes, the Ahoy, the whole sailor thing really is a 70s detective. That's a good way of putting it. Not a guy who's slowly dying from a virus that's not been identified yet.
Yeah. Now we only do this once a week. I've got my daily radio show. You got you. How often you do a daily with Crowder? Right?
Yeah, Monday through Thursday, very early, inappropriately early if you ever want to write in. If you prefer a later time.
What time do you get up? What time do you get up? What time do you start recording?
Oh man, like usually about 6, and then you get up and do that until about 6 o'clock Texas time. Then you do that until about 9 when the show starts. And then you do the show, and then after you plan the next day's show, and I just write the comedy though. That's pretty much my job, so I don't actually have to do any of the research. I just nod along and pretend I know what they're talking about. I'm like, yeah,
right. And then you just throw in the nice little quips every now and then.
But it works.
Yeah, I'm like,
It
yeah,
really
I throw in one-liners, and I'm like, yeah, that whole Korea thing, that's a real mess, and I won't know what I mean.
Oh yeah,
That's what I do. That's what I add to the program. But I like to write,
So-
sketches, and I like to do a lot of that stuff. But it is cool. I mean, it is a lot of hard work, but people do seem to enjoy it, and it seems to pay off in that way, and that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, a lot of people I don't think realize what you have to do to put on a show like you guys do.
yeah.
You know what it takes, the show prep, the on the technical side, downloading all the audio and getting all that stuff together, and then deciding, how it's going to flow. Some people just do it on the fly, like us here, but
Which is fine.
But well,
you got a scrolling ticker. Don't.
Yeah, we got a ticker. Look at that. Yeah.
Ticker, yeah.
It looks official.
It's just
cute,
it's much happier than CNN's. It's not just
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's given all his shows.
Yeah,
Let
right.
you know where he's playing.
Well, yes, and
Yeah,
folks,
I
you
like
can go
that.
to Dave Landau this weekend. I want to talk about that a little bit. You're at Visani right here in Port Charlotte, Southwest Florida. I saw you the last time you were here. I'm going to throw that picture up. I met you for that brief 5 seconds. It was quite enjoyable. There it is. And
wow, that's you? Okay.
That's me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And but you have 4 shows
God,
in
I'm
2
fat.
days.
Go on.
September 9th and 10th, Visani.net
You can
for
afford
tickets.
a gym membership now, can't you?
I know I can,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean I need
Come
it.
on,
Well, I do need
Crowder
it.
doesn't have one in the
He's too busy.
studio.
Yeah, you think he'd have a spin bike.
He does have one. He does have one in the studio. Yeah, I just don't want to go in there because other people are going to be like, "Let's do it like this," and I didn't even be ordered around. I want to take a brisk walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah.
The whole what was that called? The Peloton
Personal
Oh, yeah.
training.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to die. I just didn't think that would.
Oh,
'cause-
Peloton.
Yeah, I mean, who
Yeah,
wants
why
to
would you
buy
want one?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
It's a TV.
it's
It's like you're
$600.
in the woods now. It's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's a TV.
Yeah.
It's not 1910 where the first time you see like a train coming at you in black and white, you're like, no, it's a screen. I know exactly what it is. It's not fooling
Yeah.
me. It's a stationary bike with a video. It's,
Of somebody
no one
yelling
does
at
that.
it.
Yeah, for an extra $40 a month after you pay for the $2,400 bike, that's only $600 bike with apparently,
Right.
$1,800 laptops.
Yeah.
Well, because you can join in so other people can, hurt your feelings. Like that doesn't make sense. Like,
Right.
why would you do
Yeah.
that?
Much rather be
That
by
guy
myself.
is great. Yeah, I get to be in a
Yeah.
whole class of people who don't really want to be there and are eventually going to use this thing as a coat rack. That's great. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Exactly.
So
And
when
everybody got mad because it was a present on a commercial. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, you're
You
fine.
don't buy it. You remember that when everybody like the stock dropped because there was a commercial for Christmas where a guy got it for his wife. Like, here you go.
Yeah. That's
Here,
a
you
last.
fat lady.
There's no common sense whatsoever. Obviously, the marketing dude was single.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah. Like, you know what? She'd love exercise equipment. Nothing says I love you just like you are, like a Peloton.
Yeah. Watch the
Get it.
TV on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been doing your comedy for a long time. What got you, or when did you start diving into the political world of it, and how did you get involved with Crowder to get on his show?
Probably after dealing with network TV executives.
Yeah, that didn't help. Yeah, once you've been in the actual that side of show business and you've just faced a decade and a half of rejection, all I say is it's fun. It hurts.
Yeah.
No, honestly, well, I wanted to be. I got invited onto the Anthony Cumia show with Artie Lang, and then they wanted me to be third mic, and it just happened that Anthony was kind of political. And I don't mind what side of the fence you're on. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah,
it's just
your comedy has never really been that political.
No, it's not. I don't trust. I don't trust politicians. Period. For my own reasons, which I can get into. And it's. I don't believe in any of it, to be honest. And I never did. Since I was a kid, my dad was in Vietnam. This is, I guess, part of the story of it, where My dad got Agent Orange, and he died of brain cancer when I was a kid. I shouldn't say a kid; I was a teenager. But I watched him suffer for 4.5 years while the VA and the government just said, "Hey, it's not our fault. We didn't have anything to do with that." And then his insurance company denied him. So my dad, who had nothing growing up, not even a father in the house or anything, who became a millionaire, lost everything, died. It led to my mom's suicide. So and he didn't trust them, really, the government either. He wasn't a conspiracy tinfoil hat guy. He was a baseball coach, basketball coach, like just a really good human being. And that's why it was so hard to watch. So I am completely anti that establishment because I think it's all about money. And now that we've gone after the VA or even talked to them, it's like, well, your mom didn't fill out these forms right, so you guys will never get anything. And at this point, it's not even about money. It's just we would like an acknowledgement. And the only acknowledgement they've ever given is, we looked back at it and soft cell sarcoma is absolutely our fault. But you guys are older now, so, who cares? And
they're not going to do anything.
And as we jumped more into politics and everything started happening with 2020, and I watched more hats get thrown in the ring and people have meltdowns, and then a virus get hit. I'm a huge germaphobe. My mom was a nurse, and not just a nurse, like a bipolar nurse. So it was like, wash your hands until they bled. Sorry, if we're not live.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
We'll catch up.
Yeah, but it was like, sorry, my bad. So it was like, wash your hands until you bled. So like, really, like, and maybe that's a little exaggerated, but I was very afraid of. I've always been a germaphobe, but when this hit, it didn't make any sense. So I was the one that was still going on the subway and flying on planes during 2020. Like, it didn't add up. None of it. And I just kept looking at everything and watching both sides, where I was watching, okay, I'll watch this show. Like, I would go on Fox, but I would go and then watch CNN. And it's like, well, that's just a lie. This is just a lie. And knowing stuff from it being rammed down my throat by, my mom about vaccinations, everything when I was a kid, because I have all of them, the way they were doing it didn't make sense to me. And the way they were rushing it out didn't make sense to me. Not that I have a degree or anything like that, but I do have cousins that are certifiable geniuses that didn't make sense to them. And it was enough to make me just question it, because I've always thought to question it. My dad always taught me that. So when Anthony's show was going to end, I started doing, or not end, but he said he was moving to South Carolina. Crowder gave me an option to be on his show, and I went in and just started talking. And because I'm able to kind of see both sides of it, which people can sort of chastise, but I really do consider myself a moderate, because I just can't rah-rah any side, because I just think they're flawed. Now, granted, I think the left is far more flawed than anything right now, which is sad, because I would have considered myself, for freedom of speech purposes and everything, more liberal my entire life. But I don't think that exists anymore on the left, or whatever that's supposed to, that's gone. Whatever that ideology is gone.
You saw Biden.
When people mock, when people mock cancel culture, say it's not real, all these different things, and you're like, no, it is. I keep watching it happen. When my friend Shane Gillis got fired from SNL before he even got on the first show, I watched it. I watched it affect a lot of people very personally for doing things that weren't wrong. It was just, and nothing's weaker to me. Like, if you're on the side of the mob, you need to stop and take a look at yourself, because you're probably not on the right side. Like, and there's nothing virtuous about kicking someone while they're down, or once you get the okay to destroy someone. And that's all I've watched happen the last few years. So the more I get into it, I'm just honest about my opinions. And I guess by today's standards, those do side more right. And that's where I stand. So slowly, I've gotten into politics just by being honest.
Yeah, it doesn't make you more right. You're still the moderate. It's just they have gone so far bat crap crazy to the left that it makes you look like a right-wing zealot, which we know you are.
Right. Well, because it's about caring about the truth and freedom to do what you want and live your life.
Particularly in
and freedom of speech.
That's it. And when people talk about freedom of speech, you're like, sorry, you go ahead. I felt bad. I didn't know what to do.
No, the screen did not freeze.
How has there's been we've seen how liberalism and the wokeness has tried to infiltrate comedy these last few years. Hasn't really happened. I don't really see it down here, but it is happening in some of the blue cities and the blue comedy clubs. What you got somebody woke in the crowd who just has to question what you're doing. Have you experienced that in any of your stand up after being on Crowder? Do people oh, he's that guy on that right winger show? Have you taken heat at some clubs for that yet?
I've taken heat in a strange way. People who don't know me have definitely made assumptions where it's going to be about this or this. And then I've gone into areas where, because I started in a lot of mixed rooms actually in Detroit. I started in kind of like hoity-toity white rooms, and then like very all black rooms, and then everything in between. So, because I like comedy because I really think it does unite. And we're now living in a time, and we're living in a time where like my favorite comic of all time is Dave Chappelle, and it was based on and you know, I have other ones too, Rodney Dangerfield and you know, Richard Pryor, and you know, it's you have the whole list. But it's like I grew up loving Dave Chappelle. I got to start opening for him when I was 21. I think I did an arena with him, and then it was really, really amazing. But like to watch him basically get called a white supremacist now is mind-boggling to me.
Right?
I mean, that's how you know. I'm sorry, you know, if this is the face of white supremacy, then there is no white supremacy.
Yeah.
No, and they're saying that, you know, he's transphobic to that community, and it's like he did a whole special on his transgender friend and how she died. And it's like that was what it was, and you think that's hateful? Like, well, because there's actually a saying that context doesn't matter. And once you start saying stuff like that, it's like, well, no, it does. It absolutely matters. Context to any conversation it's very imperative of what you mean when you say. Otherwise, anything can be taken out of context to serve your purpose.
Exactly.
But that would
so
never
it's
happen.
Scary.
Oh no, who would take things out of context?
Who would know?
There's no way that anything would know.
You and your
journalist without integrity.
Yeah. So how's it feel when you get to when Crowder's not there and you get to be louder with Crowder with Dave? I took this picture here. We have this. You know, when you get to be the head honcho behind the big desk.
Well, I think we can all admit this show's better.
No, I know.
You play off each other very well.
There it is. There's the picture. Yeah, louder with Crowder with Dave.
With Dave's mustache.
Yeah.
That's a nice picture I have. I look like I've had way too much alcohol.
No, you do. You look like
I don't drink though, for the listener.
Carrying a snub-nosed 38.
Yeah. I look like Tom Selleck has finally felt the wrath of all the reverse mortgages he's talked people into.
Yes.
Right.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, no, I love doing it because I kind of do a different show. I just sort of make fun of everything, toss in a little bit of entertainment. You know, one time just dumb stuff. I've interviewed camels. You know, there's just stuff that's just ridiculous, but I kind of look at it in the way of when I do it, I want it to feel more like the older Letterman or kind of like the early 2000s, late 90s Conans with like sketches. And I do make it comparable to now, you know, like I did like one of our first ones, the sponsor was opioids. So the opioids, they were the sponsor. So it's just a commercial and that airs. And then I just have opioids on the desk the entire time. Because it's like, as a recovering drug addict and alcoholic myself, that's how I can fight on it, is in the most funny, inappropriate way possible. So the end of it, it's just me showing up at a random hotel. Like sometimes I have to do things I don't really want to get my drugs. And I just knock on a door and it's two guys in tuxedos and like wolf masks. And they just answer. And then I go, there's supposed to be one of you. And they throw me on a bed. And then the next thing I'm just like getting money poured on me while I'm crawling through a room in a gag ball trying to get out while it's labeling the side effects of opioids.
Yeah. Well,
so
but you know what?
It's fun that way.
It is, and you're still
But
getting a
it's
point
true. You're
across.
still getting the
You're
point
still
across.
getting the point across and the truth across, and that's what I think so many in the media are getting wrong, because the left can't be funny, and they've tried to be funny so many times, and they just insult people, and they just constantly try to say, well, you're wrong, you're hate speech, and you can't be doing that, you can't. And that's why the right and folks like you can still have comedy and still be funny and still get the point of the truth across, because you can make it a funny
Yeah,
joke.
I mean, and there's points too when you're a comic, like you're gonna say stuff that is punching down or inappropriate, and you're like, probably shouldn't have said that one. But and that's just part of being a comic. There's stuff that you just go, that's probably not the best. But that's just because you're also checking yourself and you have self-awareness, that you realize that. And that's for me. I'm speaking for me personally. There's a lot of people that are like, you don't apologize. Well, Like, well, it's not about apologizing. It's just about getting something across and realizing that there's ways that I'd like to do something and the way that I would like to reach people. It's why I talk about my stories I talk about stories on stage and recovery and all that. Yeah. I've had people come up to me after a show and they were angry because, their family member was killed by a drunk driver. And I was talking about being a recovering alcoholic. And I was like, oh, well, that's clearly my fault. It's like I'm sorry, but it's like, so you're saying because I turned my life around.
Yeah,
your breathalyzer guitar bit is hilarious. It's
thank you.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, my favorite. It's too long to play on the show, but my favorite is the your werewolf roommate. And I miss the mohawk.
Yes.
Bring the mohawk.
I've had people say that. I kind of want to do the mohawk and mustache and see if I can just make people.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, we have to do a soul.
What is that?
So go a mohawk and a mustache.
I did it once. It doesn't work because I'm not Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, we do have a couple.
See your point. You're not wrong.
Yes, you have a couple bits you want to play. Again, folks, you can go to Vasani.net and get your tickets for this weekend show with Dave Landau at Vasani.net this Friday and Saturday, September 9th and 10th. But with Halloween coming up, we can play this clip followed by Big Davey. But check these out and enjoy.
I was watching the movie Halloween Kills on the plane. People were upset with that movie because Michael Myers kills a gay couple. And I was like, yeah, that's what he does. He kills people. How weird would it be if he didn't? That would be far more homophobic. If Michael Myers just walks in with a knife, this dude doesn't even talk, just sees a gay couple, and is like, it's disgusting. It belonged to me. Probably has monkeypox. Kill the gay couple. That's what she did. It's equality. But he often just has some moral change where he's like, oh, I shouldn't do that. Murder some straight kids.
Even the vax thing, that's strange. People are still pushing that. And I'm not, you do what you want. But it's a weird thing to me. When the vax first came out, they were like, all right, if you're like, you shouldn't take it because it's Trump's vaccine, right? And then the next day, they're like, you should take it because it's Biden's. And I'm like, did you just figure that out in a day? And then people go, oh, you ask questions about all your vaccines? I'm like, yeah, kinda. I mean, I've never really had to before. Like when people were getting the polio vaccine, everybody wasn't still getting polio. Like there would have been questions. Like if all of a sudden everybody's just like FDRing across the floor every morning. Just like, why are my legs noodly? You'd be like, is this like if you put on a condom and got AIDS, you'd be like, I don't think this works. And you'd be like, well, it's good you had it, or you could have got the real bad AIDS. That would have been a nightmare for you.
It could have been worse.
There you go. Could have been worse, yeah. Well, it's funny too because I put that clip up and a lot of people are like, the real vaccine, the first one that came out, didn't really work on people. And I'm like, right, that's my point.
Yeah, none of them have.
Like when you first come out,
either
you don't want to
boosters
take them
or-
immediately. So once I was saying the agreed upon one that did work for everybody wasn't still a giant problem, but I can't really explain that because it's a comedy bit. Like the idea of people correcting you, where it's like, look, I have to sum this up, guys. I can't go through all of history before I get into the joke. Where it's like, no, I'm aware of it. You're right. The thing that came out and was rushed out did in fact hurt a lot of people with polio. What's your point? Do you think that might compare to something of recent days? It's so crazy to me that everything has to be so spelled out because everybody wants to have an argument. And I'm not even trying to have an argument where I'm willing to listen to anybody and go, okay, well, what do you feel for real? And I've had my mind changed many times. But with that one, it's like the only thing that I was suspicious about it, and this isn't against anybody who has it or not, but every little while, it seems the CDC comes out with brand new things going, we may have overstepped. Well, you did shut down the world for a year. You did overstep is a very cute word to use by shutting down the economy, making all these people lose their jobs, forcing people to get a jab that has a very negative side effect on many, many people. It's kind of unreal to me and I should never be the barometer of logic, ever. I'm a comic.
No, you're a comedian.
And a lot of times, though, a comedian is pointing out the logic in something stupid. And that's why when you analyze something like that, you just go, I don't know. Seems a little weird. And then when it turns out you're right, that's scary because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, we, both Mike and I, what little hair I have on the back of my neck was going up when this whole vax thing was coming out. I'm going, wait a minute. Where's the animal testing here? Excuse me. Hello, over.
Right.
Anyone? And this one, in this latest boost that I just read about, it was only tested on a couple of mice. And then, it's going right into you, safe and effective.
Yeah.
Look at the profits. Look at the profits.
Yeah, in every horror movie, that's how it starts. You just look at the cage and it's been busted open. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
How many
Animal
people
didn't want to be
given this
tested anymore.
No. Well, and even I love Jon Stewart on the Stephen Colbert show going, no, I do like Jon Stewart, honestly, I do. And it's because, but when he went on Stephen Colbert, though, he's one of the few people who is from the left going, they said they didn't know where it came from, and they knew of the COVID-19 lab in Wuhan, and they denied it for over a year and a half. And he's telling this to Colbert. He's like, stop telling me they didn't know it was the COVID-19 lab in Wuhan. And you just had, Fauci going, I don't know where it came from. Right, that thing I funded.
Yeah, right. Oh, that thing in that place in China where they all hate us.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah. They love us.
The vaccine doesn't care what gender de jure you are today. It doesn't care whether you're right, left, center. It doesn't care. It seems to be affecting in some manner or form darn near everybody that gets more than one. And if you look at the life insurance actuaries, when you combine, who was it, MetLife, all these well-known life insurance companies, when you put all their stats together, there's something going on, and it's not the COVID, because the massive increase in 18 to 49-year-old deaths has only happened since after the vaccines came out. So something's going on. And then that story I was doing on my show this morning about, and that I heard about a year ago, but I only heard it from one weird source and I didn't believe it. Embalmers across the nation are shouting out about these massive clots that they're finding they said it used to be maybe 5-10% where, you had some clots. Because in the last year and a half, these people have been clotted up so bad, instead of just drilling one hole in them to drain blood, they had to do several. Story this afternoon of a 15, 16-year-old football player. They took a like the length of his leg, a blood clot out.
Wow.
You telling me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is
You're just seeing it more and more, and most of the people, even locally in the hospitals here, that are sick in the hospital have all been vaccinated.
Something's going on.
Seeing the same with people, there's videos of people that their skin's falling apart because they had certain conditions that, autoimmune conditions, where it's affecting those, and then all of a sudden their skin's falling apart. They didn't, they're going, well, this is what I had to do to keep my job. This is what I had to do because I was being told by my doctor.
It's hard to keep your job when you're dead too.
Yeah, but that's just
it's really it's difficult too.
Yeah, it needs to be addressed.
There are. And they're not being held accountable, and they are, and the CDC and other people are, and the WHO, and not the old gag, but the World Health Organization, but the WHO, but they've also had to come out, and they're basically saying all these things that would get you thrown off of YouTube a year ago. Now they're saying, no, this is true. We didn't look at this. Maybe we overstepped here. This maybe isn't the best for these people, and it's like. What I really feel happened, and I am not a diehard Trump supporter. I'm sorry, but I'm not also against him either. The reality is he came in, and I was like, well, this is stupid. And then when he did his job, and I looked at my IRA, and I was like, how did that double? By George! And I was like, this is.
I like this guy. Okay.
Yeah. Right, and then I noticed people, and then I saw him talking to dictators, and I thought, well, this is an interesting way to actually keep somebody in check, is by doing something like speaking to them instead of starting a war. I thought that was an interesting strategy. So, and they say, oh, well, he was obnoxious. It's like, well, you have to admit that the press was equally obnoxious towards him, if not more so, to constantly goad that reaction. So the longer he was in there, the more I thought, I even if it's a monkey wrench in the system, I was enjoying it. And people can say racist, people can say bigot, people can say sexist, right? All this stuff. But everybody he without sin.
Had nothing else. They just used those words and those phrases just because they had absolutely nothing else. Because he was actually doing everything that every other Republican for the last 40 years has said they were going to do, but didn't.
Right.
And was a Democrat his entire life until he had to run
on
the
look
Republican
how much money he gave. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The picture with him and Jesse and Al.
There's a picture of him. Friends. There's a picture of Trump putting a cape onto this dude, Mel Farr, who used to play for the Detroit Lions. And Mel Farr was like the #1 black businessman in America during the 1980s. But the reason why he stopped being that is because he put these systems into every car that he would lease out. And it was, like really good interest rates, like, 13%. And he would sell these cars to people, but if you didn't pay, he could shut off your ignition from his headquarters.
That sounds like Detroit.
The problem was the technology wasn't really there in the 80s, so they would just shut off, while people were driving, like on the highway.
Yeah.
So that was all kind of swept under the rug.
I feel like California wants to start doing that with all their roaming blackouts soon.
That's hilarious, though. Where did you think the energy came from to power your car? Do you think there's just a kite with a key? Like, I don't understand.
Well, I just saw a video of a guy driving a Tesla that had run out of juice, and he was carrying a little gas can.
Did you see that whole video?
Yeah,
was that staged?
No, I don't think so. And this guy was filming him, going, "What are you doing with that gas can?" Oh, I'm going to fill up my Tesla. He goes, "But it doesn't take gas." He's like, "Well, no, follow me." And he pulls the trunk back, and he has a gas generator in his trunk. He goes, "Oh yeah, so I put this in here, and then I take this and I plug it into the Tesla, and it charges it up."
Just drive a car.
Yeah.
Emergency backup.
Yeah.
Right there. A gas powered emergency backup.
Close the trunk. Go sit in the car while the generator's running.
Right. It's amazing. Well, and half of the people, I did not see that video. I want to. Well, half the people you talk to that have a Tesla go, well, we also have, the car that runs on fuel in case of an emergency.
Suburban.
You're like,
we got the Hummer. Yeah. We got the Hummer. We got the Escalade. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always it's always the thing that gets 1 mile a gallon and the Tesla.
And I
It's
don't
like, oh,
be
yeah,
fun if you want to get a Tesla, that's fine. But
Yeah.
go
but
for
again,
it. Yeah, for sure.
when the total national infrastructure is completely ill prepared for what they're trying to shove down our throats, you'd think you'd want to pump the brakes a little bit and just allow this to gradually happen. California is prime example. You have what's that meme?
I sent this to Ben. Ben put that up, the meme of the Titanic here with California. We should have this picture.
Please, I wish it was sunk.
There it is.
Here we are.
What's the difference between California and the Titanic? The Titanic still had its lights on when it sank.
That's true. Even after it went under, the lights were still there.
Oh yeah, they're still there.
Yeah, yeah. People still had dreams on the Titanic.
And they had water too.
Now, did you?
Yeah, that's true.
Did you live out in California at all?
Yeah, I've lived in LA twice in my life.
Okay, so
In 2002, I lived there when I was 19, and it was amazing, and I loved it. It was a city where movies were made, and it was honestly one of the best summers of my life, and I loved LA and everything about it. And then I moved back in 2012, and I thought something's happening here that seems bizarre. Like you could tell a shift in the industry. But it wasn't horrible yet. But you could see the shift, and then now you go there and you're like, well, this is nice. This is just feces on sidewalks and uncared for people. Like that's what I can't stand. It's like we carry like Skid Row. I remember the first time I saw it was in 2002. It was about one block downtown. And it was very sad. A lot of former soldiers, I'm sure. It was very sad. There was one block, and it was the saddest thing you could ever see. And in 2012, I'd say it was about 3 or 4. And now it goes from downtown to the front lawn of Beverly Hills. You know what I mean? It's completely, it's the city now.
ETH through Oregon and all the way to Seattle.
Yeah.
It's
insane. Into Tacoma.
It
down to
definitely
Phoenix, Arizona. Philadelphia, Atlanta, LA.
But have you seen that? Have you seen that one picture of the? It's in LA. It's all these Tesla chargers they got lined up like parking meters where you can pull in and charge your electric car. But it's completely
surrounded,
lined up against a homeless camp. So you're going to park your car there and charge it up and leave it there for a few hours? Are you?
Once?
Oh yeah,
once.
Yeah, leave one. Yeah, leave a nickel on the seat.
Yeah,
just a nickel.
Yeah,
and see how that goes.
Oh yeah,
people are very, 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 very ignorant when it comes to all of that stuff too. Where it's like we need to care for everybody, and it's like no, I agree that everybody needs to be taken care of and everybody should be looked at, and there's people that need psychological help.
Hospitals again, yeah,
and we do again, and that that goes back to blaming Reagan. If you want to really be honest about it, I mean that was one of the first people that started shutting those down, and that was a terrible idea. And I don't think that he's the devilish president everybody else does either. But at the same time, that was a severe misstep. But what about everybody else? No, but everybody else who stepped in though. Well, yeah.
Well, it's about everybody wants to help these people, but they same thing with all the transgender issues. Like everybody thinks helping them is like letting them live into their delusion. When really, actually helping them. It's
with me, mister.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Come on, a red wig, beautiful on you right there. It's already shiny. You don't need a bald cap or anything.
I would work it.
Oh yeah,
that's true. You could really feel good about yourself, and you're just choosing that.
But it's about getting them the help that they actually need, not that they might actually want. It's the help that they actually need.
Well, that's true because again, 55 years of research, we already know transgenderism, gender dysphoria is a mental illness, marked by the fact that you've got a 40% suicide rate, regardless of whether or not you get the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, it's a mental illness. They need love, they need compassion, they need treatment, and that treatment does not involve injections of crap that is going to destroy their body and butchering them. The Mengele level psychosis that a doctor has to have to justify what they're doing to children of transgender that are suffering gender dysphoria, it's abhorrent to me. It's abhorrent.
Well, I just think being a doctor now has to be horrific because you're just walking into each room. A woman's 300 pounds overweight, and it's like, you're very brave today. You just passed your physical, and then you just go into the next room and you're like,
or Abercrombie.
You're like,
Fitch.
sure, you're a girl. Yeah.
You want to be a Lizzo backup dancer?
The thing that's funny about Abercrombie and Fitch is they've never had anything that I've approved of as far as advertising.
Exactly.
In the 90s, you'd go in there and it's just a bunch of shirtless guys tickling each other with sticks in a mud puddle. You're like, well, this is great.
Well, as you think of that visual, we have to do our little music break here. And Dave, you can push Crowder if he ever needs a musical act. He can give my band a call. Folks, enjoy this.
You got it.
Mike Imbasciani's Blues Rockers with Further On Up the Road.
Someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on the road. Someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on the road. Baby, just you wait and see. You gotta reap just what you sow. That old saying is true. You gotta reap just what you sow. That old saying is true. Just like you mistreat someone, someone's gonna mistreat you. Someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on in the road. Someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on in the road. Baby, just you wait and see. You've been laughing, little baby. Someday you're gonna be crying. You've been laughing, little baby. Someday you're gonna be crying. Further on in the road, you'll figure out I wasn't lying. Someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on the road. Someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on the road. Baby, just you wait and see.
There we go. Further on up the road.
Well done. Well done. Well, we know that Mr. Landau, that you've got just got a couple of minutes left before you have to bail on us. You're such a busy man these days.
Yes.
But folks,
Yes,
want to
it
remind
sucks.
you to log on to Vasani.net. He's going to be. Do you know who the feature is going to be this weekend? Yeah.
Chad Zumock, I believe, is featuring. And
Oh,
then,
cool. Chad, okay.
yeah. And I don't know who I don't know who else is on.
That's right.
Maybe
Chad,
you.
well, there'll be different MCs. Like I'll be the MC Saturday for the first show.
That's what I figured.
And
yeah. Awesome.
But log on to Vasani.net if you're in the Southwest Florida, Fort Myers, Sarasota area, and you want to come in. Check it out, Vasani.net, and get your tickets for 2 shows Friday and 2 shows Saturday.
Yeah, excellent. Dave, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And sorry it took me a little bit. I'm not well.
No worries.
We know you're busy.
It's You're welcome
cool.
back anytime. We'll do it again.
We'll see you Saturday.
Thank you. See you then, man.
All right.
There
Very
we go.
good. Yes, Dave Landau, everybody. And stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah,
it was good having him on.
It was.
Our first LinkedIn guest. The delay wasn't too bad.
No, it was good.
Did produce some little issues.
It's okay.
Not bad. It was fun.
The Lovejoy freeze.
Yeah.
That's okay. And so we have to get to our Patriot and Traitor of the Week.
Yes.
So, Ken, who is your Patriot of
the Week? I have to be a Breitbart.
Yes.
The whole web, their new, if Ben could throw that up there, the movie really is what I'm talking about, is Hunter.
Yes. My son, Hunter.
They were integral in putting this movie together. They one of the big backers of it, one of the big promoters of it on their news site. It looks like it's going to be a big hit. Robert Davi, great actor in his own right. Going to love to see his direction.
Gina Carano.
Who
doesn't love Gina
Who
Carano?
doesn't love Gina Carano?
Who doesn't love Gina Carano? Exactly.
But so I'm looking forward to it. I hear there's a lot of humor in it as well. So it was done. I thought everything I read, it looks like it's going to be good. You can go to Breitbart and just download it to your.
Will the DVD version come with a free crack pipe?
Free crack DVD. That's kind of passe these days, isn't it? You just download it.
I enjoy my DVDs.
I know.
It's physical. Ken, it's physical media. Then the government can't take it away from you. Any digital media, they'll take away from you.
EMP's going to zero it out anyway.
That's why you have books.
Hey, that's what I'm wondering. What would we know that an EMP, when it fries a circuit, sometimes there can be sparks and maybe a fire.
Yes.
How's that going to? I wonder how an EMP is going to affect a Tesla. Just going to blow up.
What? Yeah. Just. With that gas generator in the trunk, it's not going to help any.
Yeah, you don't want that gas generator.
Yes.
You got the fumes in there.
Yes. So my Patriot of the Week goes out to a veteran in Madison, Wisconsin, who fought in the Gulf War, received a gift on Tuesday. We have this video. Check it out.
This paralyzed veteran will now be able to get around easier thanks to a generous donation. News 3 Now was there when U.S. Army veteran Irvin Mulkey found out he was getting a brand new action track chair.
We want you to have this.
Are you serious?
Yeah. We do.
Holy frick.
Holy frick.
Holy frick.
Paralyzed Veterans of
Look at
America
that.
received
Man,
a track
I
chair
can
from
walk
property
on
law
one of those.
specialists. It'll help ensure
Look at that.
Mulkey
That's
has
cool.
the
Good for
accessibility to
him.
participate in adaptive sports, hunting, fishing, and other outdoor activities from now on.
That's great. Now you can go fishing.
What
You can go
this
hunting.
chair's going to do for me is, wow. I mean, I'm going to be able to go more places with my son. You know, it's going to give me even that much more freedom than I've strived very hard to get, and not just stay sitting on a couch.
Mulkey said he's headed to Denver this weekend for the National Lacrosse Tournament. He credits Adaptive Sports and PVA for keeping him alive after struggling with the aftermath of his.
Yes,
That's awesome.
excellent.
That's awesome.
So very
I'm
nice.
telling you.
Paralyzed Veterans of America and property law specialists gave him that awesome
50 cal, little too heavy.
Yeah, but
M60 mount easily. M60 on that would
just go down the hedgerow.
Down
You know,
the
just
hedgerow.
you know.
Awesome.
Excellent. Sir, I believe our traitor of the week is
the same.
Okay. But first, I think an honorable mention. Hold on, before we do traitor of the week, an honorable mention is that video you have of Mr. Hoodie. And I think we should play that video.
Please understand the stakes in this race. Send me to Washington, D.C. so I can work with Senator Casey.
Yeah.
And I can champion the union way of life in in D.C.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And it's an honor.
Thank you.
I live
Where do you
8
live?
minutes away from here. And when I leave tonight, I got 3 miles away, Dr. Oz in his mansion in New Jersey. You've got a friend and you have an ally. Send me to Washington, D.C. Thank you very much. Thank you, Steelworkers.
Please. Thank you. Thank you. You just want to see a conversation between him and Biden because you just picture two toddlers that can't form complete sentences. Just talk to each other.
I think you misconstrue the beauty in the oration of Mr. Fetterman.
Beauty. Yes.
Yes.
That's what I think of when I see him.
In brevity, being the soul of wit.
In bread? What?
No, the dude has obviously been affected by the stroke, and that's why he's not going to debate Oz, because Oz would probably prompt him into having another stroke on stage or AFib from the freaking pacemaker that he's got in there. I think maybe he was already like this and really had heart disease, or maybe he got affected by the jab. Either way, this guy is not healthy enough to be running for senator. And if he wins, then you see how just bad off.
Yes, it's
gone.
very bad. Yes.
Jump the shark. The state of Pennsylvania is.
Yes,
and it makes me doubly mad because I've got my daughter and granddaughters live there. So I don't like seeing what's going on there. And Western Pennsylvania isn't like Eastern. It's a little more conservative in that area. You get up there in the Amish area. Amish are going conservative because these rat bastard
They really don't
Democrats
believe in Teslas.
Well, they're going after the Amish for their organic beef that they're
it's probably healthier than whatever you're getting
Hell
from
yes,
the
it
FDA.
is. Well, they don't want you eating it any all because cow farts and all.
Right, cow farts. Totally. So, yes, Trader of the Week is Mr.
Satan.
Yes. Yes. Oh, there he is. Oh, come on. I gave
Joe
you some
Biden.
better pictures than that. Let's see. We have the Biden at the podium. Yes. He forgot the drapes on that, and I just we'll leave it with this. I love the Babylon Bee, the 12 steps of Biden. Start with me here on the bottom right of your screen. You have Biden rejected from Austrian art school. Biden publishes autobiographical memoir, My Struggle. Biden announces new program for patriotic youngsters, the Biden Youth. Biden establishes the secret police. Biden abolishes office of president and names self Supreme Führer. Biden opens camps in which to concentrate political dissidents and other undesirables. Biden signs non-aggression pact with Poland. Biden announces invasion of Poland. France surrenders to Biden. Yeah, that's today.
Anniversary.
Yeah, yes. Biden announces strategic alliance with Mussolini and Emperor Hirohito. Biden, the forces are stalled 12 miles from Moscow, and finally Biden swallows cyanide capsule underground bunker. I love the Babylon Bee. We're out of time. Put this up to end the show. Your heritage is rebellion. Thank you, everybody, from the bunker. Good night.
Deep breathing.
Deep breaths.
You're watching Conservative Television of America, working hard to stick socialism where the sun don't shine.